This video is sponsored by the Magic Candle Company. You guys already know what to do. Stay tuned until the end of the video though, if you guys want some cool secret details on how to make your house smell exactly like the lobby of a Disney Resort hotel. I'm not snitching. This intro was recycled. Guys, Disney isn't made out of money. At least I don't think they are. So that means from time to time they may have to recycle the odd animatronic or two, or 3, or 8. And so in today's video, I thought we would talk about some animatronics that Disney recycled over the years, whether that be in the Haunted Mansion, most importantly, or other attractions like the Disneyland Railroad, Jungle Cruise, or even, if we're very lucky, Rise of the Resistance. You guys are good. Alright, so buckle up you guys, because here are 8 rare instances of Disney reusing animatronics in their parks. No, we're not talking about Splash Mountain. You guys already know about Splash Mountain. Let's start with the Haunted Mansion, because where else am I going to start, guys? Come on, you know me. This is my channel. This is my channel. I start where I want to start, and where I start is the Haunted Mansion. All the time. Start the video. So, we all hated Tiki Room under new management, right? Like, everyone didn't like that. That was sort of just an agreed thing, sort of like Stitch's Great Escape. That one had its charms, but under new management? No. This is the version of the Enchanted Tiki Room from the Magic Kingdom where Iago from Aladdin and Zazu from the Lion King would take over and various hijinks would ensue. It was known for being not very good, but there was one animatronic that was part of that show that was genuinely impressive and a sort of improvement on the original Tiki Room, dare I say. And if you've ever been on Under New Management, you know who I'm talking about. The Tiki Goddess of Destruction, Aoa. You get it? It's like uh-oh, but she's a tiki goddess, so it's Aoa. She fills the role of the angry tiki gods, like in Disneyland when they get angered by all the celebrating. Here, they actually come to the Tiki Room in the form of Aoa to take their revenge on people being too happy, I guess. And while she was genuinely a very good animatronic, very fluid, very lifelike, one day luck intervened and shut down the Enchanted Tiki Room under new management because of a small fire. And with the Tiki Room reverting back to more or less normal afterwards, Aoa was sent to Glendale in California. And I say more or less because it was a shortened and slightly inferior version of Disneyland's Tiki Room, unless you count the pre-show, which is pretty cool there, but the Disneyland pre-show is really good as well. Either way, it's a shorter show. And so, Aoa was shipped to Glendale and sat in the Imagineering offices in a pile of other animatronics that the new incoming Imagineers would have to practice on. That was until one very special day. Brandon Clayla, an Imagineer, and also, I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong, I probably did, Brandon, found Aoa and brought her back from the dead, or the animatronic scrap heap, and shipped her all the way back to Orlando to become part of Trader Sam's Grog Grotto at the Polynesian Resort. Even though she wasn't animated and angry this time, she was instead very still and solemn. Whenever a guest would order her signature drink made with dark rum and orange and passion fruit, guava, pineapple, grapefruit juices, cinnamon, fresh lime juice, Bacardi rum. I need to go to Trader Sam's. People would start chanting her name and she would illuminate for a few seconds, looking very spooky before retreating back into darkness. Aoa remains at Trader Sam's Grog Grotto to this very day as a sort of silent reminder as to what drink you can order, but also a little bit of history of the Magic Kingdom just across the Seven Seas Lagoon.
Arg, avast there! It be me, a pirate, here to introduce our next entry on the list. That's right, everybody. You know it, I know it. It's my favorite attraction at Disneyland. The Jungle Cruise.
Thank you, pirate. Yes, the Jungle Cruise has lots of reused animatronics, just like a bunch of other Disney rides that we're going to get into later, but this one isn't a reused face mold or an animal you can find at Epcot. Instead, we're going to be looking at one of the elephants in the elephant bathing pool, specifically at Anaheim. This one cannot be found in Walt Disney World, sorry. Now this elephant is sort of shy and he doesn't like to show his face to guests too much, but in the back of the elephant bathing pool scene, you will find one specific elephant scrambling up the side of the riverbank. But who is this mysterious elephant and where did he come from? And to that we have to look back to none other than the 1964 New York World's Fair. That's right, Lincoln and this elephant both share an origin story. You see, back at the World's Fair, Disney made an attraction sponsored by the Ford Motor Company called Ford's Magic Skyway, which wasn't like the Skyway at Disneyland, it was more of a moving dark ride. And instead of Omnimovers or a slow-moving boat ride, guests would board the latest Ford model to take a trip through the passage of time, from the dinosaurs all the way to the future. The dinosaurs you see here were recycled into the Primeval World diorama that you can find on the Disneyland Railroad. At some point in the attraction, you would voyage through the story of early man, or cavemen. One of these groups of cavemen were busy hunting and poking at a mammoth with their spears, and if you look at that mammoth, he seems to be in a very familiar pose. That very same mammoth you can still see today on the Jungle Cruise at Disneyland. He's just a lot less hairy. Which is funny because this wasn't the first time he was a hairless elephant.
These dinosaurs are called triceratops, or three-horned apes. That woolly mammoth will look a lot better after he's given a coat of hair.
And then stripped of his hair once again and placed in the very back of the bathing pool at Disneyland for people to ride by every day and not realize the historical significance of this one strange-looking elephant that is a remnant of a lost Disney attraction and also a recycled animatronic, because that's the name of the video. You know what? This is an offhand Disney video, and what would an offhand Disney video be without the Haunted Mansion? And so I'm going to talk about two different instances of reused animatronics in the Haunted Mansion. The first one, being first in the ride, is Granny from the ballroom. When you first enter the ballroom scene, look down and to your right, and you will see a lonely grandma sitting down in her rocking chair next to a pile of yarn and knitting needles. Now, if you're an eagle-eyed Disney fan, you may remember this grandma from an existing attraction that is now in Tomorrowland at the Magic Kingdom, and was once at the 1964 World's Fair. See, we brought it back around again. The Carousel of Progress.
You know, I predict the day when millions of people will learn Latin and Greek sitting in front of their TV sets.
Are you awake, dear? Give him a left, you big lord!
Now, does this old woman look at all familiar to you? Now, taking a closer look at the animatronics, you can see that the grandma in the Haunted Mansion is nearly a one-to-one replica of Grandma from the Carousel of Progress, just made a little bit more ghoulish and a little bit more spooky because she's a ghost. My theory is this, everybody. After Grandma is done playing VR in the early 90s, in the final scene of the Carousel of Progress, she tragically passes away. But where does she go? Does she haunt the House of the Future? No, everybody. She makes her way to New York or to New Orleans as a spirit. Somehow, maybe she hitchhikes and takes up residence in the Haunted Mansion ballroom, forever cursed to knit sweaters for the ghosts visiting the mansion day in and day out. I gotta admit, it's not a very solid theory, but it's a theory. But that's just one case of a reused audio animatronic in the Haunted Mansion. I said we were gonna do two, and I intend on doing two. But what's the other one? Where can we find the other reused audio animatronic? And the answer to that question is actually, it's right here. It's this guy, believe it or not. Now, we all know about the insidious Hatbox Ghost. His head disappears from between his shoulders and reappears in his hatbox. He was there on opening day and then disappeared and then reappeared in 2015. He's one of the best animatronics Disney has ever made, and he's also my best friend. Wait, he's an animatronic. That's kind of sad. Well, even after the original Hatbox Ghost animatronic was removed from the attic scene, he appeared in the corridor of doors in different pictures you can find along the route. When you enter the graveyard scene of the attraction, keep your eyes on a swivel because you may be able to spot some familiar molds of a familiar head that used to disappear between someone's familiar shoulders. One of the pop-up ghosts looks, hey, that face looks very familiar. Enhance. Enhance! Enhance even more, dang it! My god. Huh. Looks like we have a match, everybody. The Hatbox Ghost animatronic and this pop-up ghost used the same head mold. They're not the exact same animatronic, like the face of the original Hatbox Ghost wasn't ripped off and put on this pop-up. It just was from the same mold. But you can also find another one very, very similar to the Hatbox Ghost, if not identical, more featured in the attraction toward the end. And ladies and gentlemen, there he is. He has been with us this whole time and we barely even saw it. The original Ezra Hitchhiking Ghost animatronic's head was taken from the same mold as the Hatbox Ghost. Over the years, his face may have evolved a little bit to make him more distinguishable from his chuckling brother, but it absolutely cannot and should not be denied that these two animatronics are birds of a feather. Which gives me an idea for another backstory. Maybe these two are related, or father and son, or brother and brother. Maybe that's why they look so similar to each other. Or Wed was just trying to save money on the faces of the ghosts, which is understandable. But now, this is my least favorite part of the video. We must leave the Haunted Mansion, and because you guys were being so good, alright, I guess, okay, let's go to Rise of the Resistance. Honestly, it's one of the most impressive Disney attractions ever made, and if you haven't had the chance to go on it yet, I'd skip to this time point right here just to avoid any spoilers until you can experience this thing for yourself. Okay? Are they gone? Guys, how cool is this ride, right? But just because an attraction is state-of-the-art and changes the entire future of how dark rides are going to be done going forward doesn't mean they can't put a few reused animatronics in here or there. No, I'm not talking about one of the Kylo Ren animatronics, although it wouldn't be surprising if it was a recycled Wicked Witch animatronic to me, but no, we're going to talk about one that's way more obvious. You'll notice this animatronic when you go into the hangar scene, but keep in mind that you do have to be in the front transport to see this animatronic. The back one, you get a different experience, it's all a little different, and you don't get to see this one. And considering most people will only get to ride this ride once during their visit, sorry. When the AT-ATs, yes, that's what they're called, are firing at you, look to your left and you'll see Finn taking cover behind a wall. It may look a little familiar to those of you who are fans of Hollywood studios. There's a scene when you're going through an abandoned spaceship, later revealed to be the Nostromo from Alien, and surprise, it turns out you're being hunted by the alien, and it's a very spooky scene, especially with the jump scare. But you do come face to face with Ripley taking cover behind a wall in a very familiar pose. She's even holding a sci-fi space blaster the same way Finn is in Rise of the Resistance. This is weird. And when you look at the two animatronics side by side, the Finn one's a little bit blurry here, I apologize for that. You can see that they're in almost exactly the same pose, minus the exact positioning of their arms, but other than that, it's pretty much one for one. And with the Great Movie Ride closing in 2017 and Rise of the Resistance opening in 2019, it's not that far of a stretch to say that they just sort of moved the arms and twisted the head the opposite way, and there you have it, brand new Finn animatronic. Just dress it up like a stormtrooper. And like I said, just because it's a genre-defining, state-of-the-art dark ride doesn't mean Disney isn't allowed to save a few pennies here and there by reusing animatronics. Which makes me wonder, what other Great Movie Ride animatronics still exist and in plain sight on attractions? And for that, we need to hop on the Skyliner to Epcot from Hollywood Studios and then get on a monorail from Epcot to the Magic Kingdom to board Pirates of the Caribbean.
Arg, Avastar!
In 2018, Pirates of the Caribbean changed forever. Some people would say for the worse, I would say for the better. Disney announced that, along with a few other changes, both Disneyland's and Walt Disney World's Pirates of the Caribbean would get changes to their auction scene. Disneyland's version also got another sweet addition in the form of a new scene before the ship battle sequence. But the most notable addition was Red in the auction scene, and when Disney revealed her new animatronic, people noticed that she looked a little familiar once again from the Great Movie Ride. Because Red had been added in 2018, and she bore such a striking resemblance to a certain animatronic on the Great Movie Ride, which had closed in 2017, it's not that much of a stretch to say that the Jane animatronic from the Great Movie Ride, based on Maureen O'Sullivan's character from Tarzan, was recycled into Red. That is, at least into the Magic Kingdom's version of Red. I wouldn't be surprised if the same face mold was used for Disneyland's. Although the Jane animatronic was pretty static, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just tore the head off and used it for the new, more fluid and lifelike Red. Honestly, guys, am I just making random guesses here? Yes, but you can't look at these two animatronics side by side and tell me they didn't at least share a little bit of a similar face. So with all these rumors of Margot Robbie playing Red in a new Pirates of the Caribbean movie, you can't look at me and tell me that Maureen O'Malley, the face the animatronic was actually based off of, wouldn't make a better Red. I mean, it's literally the same as the animatronic. Although I guess she is, dead now. Probably wouldn't be able to do her stunts as well as Jack Sparrow does.
Did everyone see that? Because I will not be doing it again.
So, yeah, you know what? I guess Margot Robbie is a good casting choice. Now, if that new Pirates of the Caribbean movie connects to the new Haunted Mansion movie that they're doing, and then if that connects to the new Society of Explorers and Adventurers series that they're doing, which connects to the Jungle Cruise movie with Dwayne Johnson, then I think it's safe to say that Disney will be the perfect storytelling empire never before seen by human eyes. Alright, let's talk about the Muppets. Guys, I gotta be honest with you, Muppet Vision 3D has one of the most detailed pre-shows and cues of any attraction I've ever been on. That's including Flight of Passage. All the different hidden Easter eggs you can find pertaining to different Muppet TV shows and movies, and even other movies and TV shows that aren't directly related to the Muppets, like this, A Net Full of Jell-O, referencing the Mouseketeer, of course. But what we're looking for this video is up in the rafters of the main waiting room while you're waiting to go inside the theater proper. Next time you're waiting for the show to start, look up into the rafters, and you may be able to spot a couple of Revolutionary War soldier puppets used in the show itself. They can be seen in the show toward the end during the glorious 3-hour finale that only takes a minute and a half to get through. And I don't think these puppets existed in the queue of California Adventure's version of Muppet Vision, so this is an Orlando exclusive, guys. Take a look next time you're there. Also, has anybody else ever noticed that the Kermit at the end sitting on the fire truck ladder moves a little bit weird? There's something about the way his mouth moves. I know he's not a real hand puppet, right? That's why he moves so weird, but what's going on with him? He looks so stiff. Now this next one isn't really confirmed in any official capacity, but you're not gonna find it anywhere else except for here on the Offhand Disney Channel. Here is a bit of a theory I have for you guys. In the early days of Disney's Animal Kingdom, guests were able to board a Discovery River boat and sail across the rivers of the park, while seeing various sights and sounds that would go on to tease different attractions and things you could do in the lands of the park. Like a dragon spewing fire from a cave that was meant to represent the upcoming land Beastly Kingdom that, as we all know, would never come to fruition. You would also be able to see an animatronic dinosaur, a very specific dinosaur named Aladar from the movie Dinosaur. But we've talked about it before, guys. The Discovery River boats were not very popular. People were expecting an attraction rather than just a form of transportation when they got onto the boats, so they didn't last very long. So when it closed in 1999, Disney needed a place to put this incredibly detailed animatronic, and for that, they decided to go to Disneyland Paris, but don't get too excited. Our old dino buddy found a brand new home in the backlot tour of Walt Disney Studios Park, the one that's not Disneyland Paris, the one that has the California Tower of Terror. Unfortunately, he was also stripped of all of his skin and mechanical components, so he just sat there as a metal frame, wasting away in the sunlight and in the rain. And he was there for a good number of years before Disney finally decided to take him backstage and disassemble him for scrap. Or did they? Hey, D-Sauce, Dallin here. Who is Aladar? And more importantly, where is Aladar? Well, scientists say that they are still keeping him backstage at Disneyland Paris, somewhere in the archives. But here, well, we think they're doing something a little bit different. You see, more than a decade ago, a small themed area opened at Walt Disney Studios Park called Toy Story Land. And in this land, guests, or shall I say, visitors, could talk to their favorite Toy Story characters, who appeared very big and very photogenic. But here's where things started to get a little bit weird. Guests were able to meet another dinosaur, Rex, from the Toy Story film series, and if you look very closely, his pose seems to match that of Aladar's almost to a T. Now this Rex isn't an animatronic, remember, he's anything but. He's a very stationary figure meant to take photos with. But remember, Aladar was broken down to his most basic mechanical components, and if you shortened the arms, elongated the tail, and switched out the head, he's pretty close to Rex that you can find in Toy Story Land. My theory is that they used the shell from the Aladar animatronic originally from Animal Kingdom to help create this new Rex sculpture. And because the dinosaur was already in Walt Disney Studios Park, it made the switch that much easier. But am I wrong? And were components from Aladar recycled into existing animatronics in Paris? Maybe some sort of new Avengers attraction is coming, where Aladar will be seen in the forefront of a Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout style attraction. Or maybe his skin and bones were recycled into the statue you see standing in front of Dinosaur to this very day. Probably not. But Aladar stands as proof that Disney is not only willing to let their priceless animatronics rot away in the sun and rain for years on end, but through new Imagineering projects they may have a life that carries on far into the future, way beyond the countdown to extinction. And as always, thanks for watching. Ah, you guys smell that? You ever wish you could smell the smell of classic Disney attractions and locations in your very own home? Well, do I have the candle for you? All it takes is a quick visit over to themagiccandlecompany.com and the entry of offer code OFFHAND15 to get 15% off your purchase of this or other candles. This one smells like the pirate's water. Or maybe you want one based on the spooky scents that you can find in the Haunted Mansion. Well, Magic Candle Company has you covered there too. Or maybe even you want to have the secret hidden Jean Lafitte scent that you can only get by mixing the pirate water and haunted candles together. That's something you can only get with the Magic Candle Company. So, like I said, visit themagiccandlecompany.com, use offer code OFFHAND15 for 15% off your purchase, and maybe one day your hands too can be free of germs and smell just like the lobby of Disney's contemporary resort. Thank you to the Magic Candle Company for sponsoring this video. Hello everybody, I hope you all enjoyed this 21-minute long video on the history of different reused animatronics throughout the Disney parks history, and ones that may not have been reused, but you know, I think they might be. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and if you're new around here and want more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. It lets me know that you guys do like this video, and if you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, I post things from time to time there that may interest you. And if you want access to early episode audio, sneak previews, and early launches of videos, please head over to my Patreon and pledge even just $1 gets you access to most of the perks. Like this video, my Patreon supporters got to watch it yesterday, so before you guys got to watch it, so how does that feel? Again, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I really enjoyed making it. I'm just having a lot of fun making videos. I hope you like that new green screen too. It's pretty neat, huh? If you want to give a listen to the Foolish Mortals podcast, it's a podcast me and Disney Dan have together. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and even here on YouTube in the links in the description down below. They're there. And obviously, last but not least, if you're interested in watching my past live streams, I am planning on doing one later this week. You know when this video came out. If you're watching this 3 months into the future, sorry. You can still find it though in the links also in the description. Sorry, it's all down there. I promise it's all down there. Anyways, everybody, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Again, I'm not quite sure what it's going to be about. It's probably going to be creepy. Goodbye.